This was not an election. This was a revolution. This was a revolution. And I have been doing this a bit for him. One of the things that occurred in this revolution is and I was just talking to Attorney General Meese about this. This was a digital election because the media, the normal media, 99% of the media was not on Donald Trump's side, was not on President-elect Trump's side. I mean, you saw the bombardment, the constant barrage and attacks every single day. Okay, so I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about social media because there's so much power in social media for your generation, So millions of people, and I will tell you that we have two big problems in this country, two huge problems. One is Hollywood, and one is right down the street here. Okay? We have two big problems, and you, young Americans, you're the ones that are going to have to figure out, because you have to fight for this country. You have to fight for this country. You can't sit back. You have a responsibility. You can't sit back. You're part of something special. You're here because you've made a decision about something in your life. Okay? You made a decision about something in your life. And it's really super important. It's super important. But we cannot lose sight. We cannot lose sight of what our country was built upon. And we should not fear. We should not fear what our country is built upon. Our country was built upon the Judeo-Christian principles and values that make up our Constitution. And our country is about individual liberties. It's not about liberties for the government. It's about liberties for the individual rights. Just look at our Bill of Rights. It's all about individual rights. Right to bear arms, peaceably assemble, practice whatever religion you want, honestly. And we have an army, okay, as a soldier and as a general, as a retired general. We have an army of digital soldiers. What we are now, what I call them, because this was an insurgency, folks. This was run like an insurgency. This was irregular warfare at its finest in politics. And that story will continue to be told here, but we have what we call citizen journalists. Okay? Because the journalists that we have in our media did a disservice to themselves, actually more than they did to this country. They did a disservice to themselves because they displayed an arrogance that is unprecedented. And so the American people decided to take over the idea of information. They took over the idea of information, and they did it through social media. What just happened in this country? What just happened? We just went through a revolution. This is probably the biggest election in our nation's history since bringing on George Washington when he decided not to be a king. That's how important this is. You can compare this to Reagan, you can compare this to FDR, you can compare this to Teddy Roosevelt, you can compare this to Abraham Lincoln, but I'm telling you, there's no comparison. And the reason why I say that, and it's the reason why I'm standing here, the reason why I decided to do what I'm doing, because there is a sense in this country that we were going in a direction that was irreversible. It was irreversible. You have to fight for what you believe in. You have to be prepared to fight for what you believe in. And you have to serve. You have to serve. You decide how you want to serve our country, whether it's in uniform or whether it's in some other capacity. Doesn't matter. Serve this nation. Serve it bravely, serve it boldly, serve it honestly. If you want credibility, others will give you credibility. If you want credibility, maintain your integrity. Protect your integrity. People will give you credibility. You have to give yourself integrity. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and I'll answer a few questions.
Hello? Is this thing on? I think it's finally up and running. Alright, I guess there's nothing left to do but to take the oath. Well, I do solemnly affirm that I support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will and well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter, so help me God.